What if I told you that a single stumble could change your life forever? That sounds wild, right? Well, that's exactly the kind of brilliance you'll find in Super Deluxe, or Super Deluxe, I don't know how to pronounce it right. In Brazil, we would pronounce it Super Deluxe. Super Deluxe, it's an Indian movie that turns the ordinary into extraordinary, okay? So let me explain you why this is an absolute must-watch. First of all, I would like to ask apologies in advance to all of my Indian followers, okay? It might be that I mispronounce some names here, but I'm trying my best, okay? So, Super Deluxe, it's an Indian film directed by the director Chia Garajan Kumararaja, okay? And it's unlike everything you ever seen. The film follows multiple storylines and brings a lot of social critique and absurd humor to construct a story that is unexpected in many ways, in many different ways. And when I'm telling you this, it builds a story that is unexpected. It is very unexpected, okay? I'm gonna talk a little bit about the movie, and in the text I wrote about this movie, I also talk about a lot of the aspects, but trust me, I'm just touching on the surface of it, okay? The movie goes much further than anything I'm gonna talk here or anything I wrote on my blog, okay? And trust me, when you see this movie, you won't look at life the same way. It will transform you somehow, I hope, okay? Because it did transform me a little bit. So the first stories, there is Vambu and Mugil, a couple trying to hide a body after an affair goes terribly wrong. It is a messy story, but somehow it is kind of relatable, you know, because the characters, they are not good guys, but they are not just bad guys, you know. They are very likable. The actors, they are very good in this role. It's very funny to watch those two couples, this first storyline. But as I told you, the story goes way beyond that. It's not just that. There is also the story of Shilpa. Shilpa would be a trans woman who is coming back to her hometown and trying to reconnect with her son. The story of Shilpa is one that gives us moments of heartfelt and transformative performances. Shilpa, it is interpreted by a cis male actor called Vijay Sethupathi, okay? And his interpretation was so good that I didn't know it wasn't a trans woman who was chosen for this role until I had to write the text. And although acknowledging that Shilpa's character was interpreted by a male cis actor could spark some important conversation about representation, like, you know, maybe a real trans woman should have been given the role. These questions are secondary, you know, because it is impossible not to admire the sheer bravery and commitment of everyone involved in this production, especially Vijay Sethupathi, okay? India, as far as I know, is not a very welcoming country for trans women, just like Brazil or any other part of the world really isn't. And having the bravery to do such a film and to do such a role, to play such a role, it is something that's very admirable and that deserves congratulations. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names of the actors, you know, I'm starting to know Indian cinema right now. I don't really know all the full stories, all the background stories, you know, but let's keep going. Beyond the story of Shilpa and Vambu and Mughal, there's also a story of a group of teenagers who are trying to watch some corn movies that they bought in a store, okay? And this is the kind of comedic relief of the movie, but it's also one of the most profound parts of the movie, you know? Although it is comedic, it is supposed to make you laugh, it also makes you think deeper about life, you know? That's why I found this movie so amazing. And to finish off all the 4 stories, there's also the story of Arput Han, who is having a crisis of faith. And all of those 4 stories, they are unexpectedly interconnected, you know? It's much like, I don't know, there's an example, Magnolia, for instance, but Magnolia is kind of boring, it's 3 hours long, and it's kind of boring. Super Deluxe, on the other hand, is not. It's very funny. It's very funny from the beginning to end, and it also makes you think a lot, you know? Think a lot about life, about simple things, you know? As I said in the beginning, what makes this movie special and incredible, it's its ability to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, you know? There is no need for crazy explosions, for a rain of frogs. It's just real human stories that will leave you thinking about life and about the coincidences of life in a whole new way, you know? So if you like this recommendation, I highly recommend that you find this movie, Super Deluxe, whenever you can, wherever you can, the way you can, and go watch it, you know? It is definitely a must-watch with great acting, great directing, great stories. Is just amazing. I think that out of all the Indian movies that I watched until now, this was definitely the best one. And I watched a lot of Indian movies, okay, but this was definitely the best one for me. The one that touched me the most, the one that made me think the most. And if you want a full breakdown of this movie, not a full breakdown because, as I told you, I leave some part of it out because I don't want to spoil the experience for you. There are many, many other things beyond what I talked about here and what I talked about in the text. But if you want a more detailed breakdown of the movie, go to my blog, thebrazilianmat.wordpress.com. There I wrote a text that I'll be leaving here in the comment section below about the movie, why it's good, all the technical aspects and all of it. And I highly recommend that you go read it as well. Go read it before watching the movie, after watching the movie, no matter when, just go read it, you know? My objective here with this channel is to make you go read, not make you only go watch movies or watch cartoon or anything. Go read. Reading is the most awesome thing. It's a way for you to imagine with the author, put your head screws to work, you know? So, that's it. Thank you for watching. As always, I like to not take much more than 5 minutes of your time. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'll see you maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I don't know. All I know is that now it's time for me to give you kisses and hugs from your friendly Brazil.